Greetings and welcome to another edition of Fill Your Own Void, the podcast. Again, it's Fill Your Own Void, the podcast with Chuck Rose, where we'll be discussing topics that's near and dear to you and yours, as well as topics that's near and dear to me and mine. First, let me reintroduce myself to those who know me, and let me introduce myself to those who don't know me. My name is Chuck Rose, and I'm the author of Personally Improving Mental Performance, as well as Access to Success. And I'll be your partner on our journey to becoming our own life coaches and navigating our path to enlightenment and increased quality of life by our own definition. We started off this podcast series and we're all new to it because it's only like our third, fourth episode. We asked the question, the baseline question, are you getting what you want out of life? Are you currently living a life or quality of life that you desire, deserve, and dream about? If not, hopefully our discussions will help you fix that. And if you are, we invite you to call in, send in emails. You can hit us at fillyourownvoid@gmail.com. Give us those best practices that you're enjoying that's allowing you to flow through life with such a calm, cheerful assurance. We want to do the same. You can follow us on Fill Your Own Void, the podcast, on Spreaker.com. That's one of the major podcast libraries. Again, that's Spreaker.com, Spreaker. You can look at us on YouTube, the channel. You can search us on all the social media platforms. All you got to do is search by Fill Your Own Void. We also talked about enlightenment, and we said who knows others, or he who knows others is considered clever, but he who knows him or herself is enlightened. And that's what we want to do in this podcast series. We also discussed a little bit in a previous episode about life coaches. They bring these people in, the companies, and we subscribe to them. We listen to them. They get paid a lot of money to motivate. And all they do is say, hey, do this, try that. They give you the things that, they subscribe to. They don't need anything outside of them to fill their own void or motivate them. But we can do the same thing. We have the same resources and tools available to us. So we just need to apply them. So there's several things we talked about that I want to revisit. One of which was breaking the generational curse and the fact that generational curses come in many, many different forms, but they should and can be broken. Again, your future is not as precarious as your past or current situation may lead you to believe. But you got to have goals and vision. We talked about the set of twins that grew up to the same alcoholic, broke, abusive dad. One went on to become a loving father. The other became a broke, abusive dad. But when asked what they became and how they became what they are, they both said the same thing verbatimly. It was because of my dad. What else would I be? Yesterday really did end last night, and tomorrow is a new day. We talked about it as well. You got to have a start over mentality because there will be uncontrollable variables that will impact you and interrupt you on your pathway to getting, your plans done and reaching your goals. But again, you have to have that start over mentality. The top 5%, as we talked about, are not people without problems. They're just people that know how to solve them. And quality of life is achieved through balance. It's balance of the mind, body, and spirit. And we talked about, those folks that are enjoying things and me call in and say, Chuck, no, I think I got this thing licked. I made $1 million. I'm fine. I got the job. I feel great. But those are just a couple of different, unique endowments. One was professional, one was financial. But we got to look at all of the endowments, parental, marital, spiritual. We want to get them all calibrated and get them in harmony. And how to do that, again, you got to live a life with balance. Balance of that mind, body, and spirit. It's like the goose and the golden egg, as we said. Neglect the goose and lose your golden eggs. And again, guys, you're your own goose. And our productivity and our quality of it is our golden eggs. So, we got to make sure that we're on top of those things. I think it's really getting good. We've had some conversations, at least I've had some conversations, kind of in private about the podcast thus far. But again, we want the topics that we discuss to be from you. Again, please send those topics in to fillyourownvoid@gmail.com because we talked about it again, that the game of life has no gender or ethnicity. You hear people talking about it's the black man's world, it's the white man's world, a woman talking about it's the man's world. But the game of life have no favorites, it has no gender preferences. It plays no favorites. It has no preference. All of the people that you see that flow through life with that calm, cheerful assurance that are in that top 5% of the socioeconomic pyramid, they have the same vices, issues, and hangups that you do. But when the game starts, they just put their game face on, and you'll never know they have any issues. It's not their game, and don't get it twisted. They just play it so well, it looks like it's their game. And we talked about the fact that, this time of season, we know how to get our team to the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of us didn't make it, mine included. However, we don't know the rules to the game of life. And they're very simple. You know, their morals and their virtues and their laws. They're like gravity. They're immutable. You can't defy them. And we'll talk about those things, as well as talk about, you know, some of the other things that we enjoy, again, across all of the other endowments. We'll have financial experts on. We'll have sports icons on. So continue to join us. Now let's talk a little bit about the factor for today. And that is, you are a CEO already. You know, everybody loves flaunting that title. And I had the fact to be able to enjoy that, you know, in a company and owning a company of my own. But, you know, there was still a level of emptiness. You know, I fall into that category as well. You know, you got people that get the man in the relationship, get the woman in the relationship, get the money, but they're still void. So here's the thing. You are a CEO already, and you got to watch your bottom line. You know, everybody should know that CEO or chief executive officer is the leader of an entity organization, right? The buck stops with them, or, you know, you or the executive team. The interesting thing about these responsibilities of the CEO is, you know, they're charged to change and keep an organization running. And based on that obligation to the company, you know, there's several different sizes. There's publicly held, there's small mom and pops, but they pretty much just dissolve relationships that's detrimental to their company's health and value system. If you're the CEO of You Incorporated, and you are your company, it's like you being the goose, that means you got to dissolve relationships that are detrimental to your company's health or to your health and your value system. Understand, you know, it's very simple. It's that simple. You know, shut down those habits, beliefs that are negatively impacting the bottom line and the productivity. Again, please hit me up at fillyourownvoid.com. And we're going to leave you with this quote for today. Death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside of us while we live. Oh, I like that one too. Death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside of us while we live. Head for the stars. I will meet you there.